Good morning. I recently just celebrated 11 years clean and sober. And some people have made the comment to me, well, at least you got a jump start on your 11 years by having been locked up, and that helped you. And I'm like, you obviously know nothing about being incarcerated. In the county jail, guys who had a probation violation and knew they had to turn themselves in. Some guys would cram up their butt Suboxone strips, a bag of Coke, even weed and a lighter, and then try to sell it when they would get on the tier. And guys would always ask me, hey, you want to do a Suboxone strip with us? You want to smoke this joint with us? And I was horribly depressed that first year of mine. And, the thought of sitting in my cell doing drugs on top of everything I was facing just didn't turn me on. And I declined it all the time. And when I went to prison, it was a totally different ballgame. It's just like drugs are full bore in prison. I was getting offered heroin left and right, like on a weekly basis. Guys are hawks, and when you go get your commissary, you have to walk to another building. And I always had a lot of people supporting me in the community and even around the country who would send money in on my books. So I always had a good amount of commissary, and guys watch who comes back with their bags filled with commissary, and so I was always getting offers for heroin constantly, and then and then it was my buddy works in the hospital, I can get you cocaine. You want coke? And we had a guy on our tier who was making prison hooch, which is alcohol. And he knew why I was there. And he's like, you can have all the bottles free you want. And I'm just like, nah, bro, no. And guys are drinking this stuff and getting bombed, like fall down drunk. So to think that being incarcerated is going to help your sobriety is a complete falsehood. It's up to the individual. Guys in prison had full-blown heroin habits. Full-blown. And then they're dope sick in their cell for days. It's ridiculous. And you can't be doing drugs in that environment and think that when you get released, you're suddenly going to be able to flip a switch. You're not. If you got a heroin habit in prison, you're definitely going to have a heroin habit on the street when you get released. So I had made a decision with myself, and this I've talked about. You got to become true to yourself. I made a decision to myself that I was taking my life in a new direction, and drugs and alcohol weren't a part of that. In therapy, they teach you that rarely is recovery a straight line. You're given a free pass to the addict by saying that. Like tell the addict, you got to get some self-discipline. You gotta be true to yourself. You got to start making your word count to yourself and others. Don't give the addict the out that, recovery is rarely a straight line. It can be a straight line if you decide for yourself that it's going to be a straight line. And you don't need, programs and classes to get you there. You need to internally get strength and get dialogue within yourself that you're gonna take your life in a different direction. And, being locked up, guys just waste their time in there. I don't even know if it's 1% are trying to take their life in a new direction. my group therapy class that I got into, it was anywhere from 6 to 12 guys. And when we hit 12, it was only for a short period. It usually was 6 to 8 guys. And you're talking a prison population of 2,500. And my therapist would be like, every single guy in here has childhood trauma and should be in therapy. The guys don't want it. The guys don't want to, they just want to, do the prison lifestyle. They don't want to do the work on themselves. And the most shocking thing to me was we had GED classes on our tier. And every day there would be 4 to 6 guys who would be taking, the GED classes to get their high school diploma. And I'm like, all right, that's good for them, And one day we had a different guard on the early shift than usual. And the different guard announced, all right, this is the call out for GED classes. And he went cell by cell, rattling off the names who should be coming out for GED classes. And it was literally every cell on the bottom tier and top tier of our unit that he called out names for. Almost the entire population. And yet, 4 guys a day come out. Are you kidding me? You're in this environment and you get a chance to get your education and you just squander it. You just want to chill out. People are lazy. People have failed so many times that failure is just the norm. People don't make that pact with themselves that they're willing to do anything and everything to take their life in a new direction. I made that pact with myself. I sunk to such a low, facing life in prison for seeking revenge against my childhood rapist. And I finally awoken. I had been chasing pleasure my whole life to just mask my pain. And I finally was ready to confront my pain and take my life in a new direction. And the majority, 99.9% of the guys locked up don't do that. They're just finding ways to pass the time without any growth in their life. So I just want to share, 11 years sober, and this is coming from a guy who was searching for any substance he could get his hands on. Coke, speed, heroin, pain pills, codeine cough syrup, weed, Marinol, synthetic THC tablets, Valium, Xanax, just you name it, anything I searched out. And I never envisioned my life without alcohol. I never saw a reason, why I wouldn't drink. I never saw a reason to quit. It was just my lifestyle. So why would I alter that lifestyle? Well, I altered it when I smacked bottom and I finally came to my senses. And even after I got arrested, my mind still had the neural pathways connected to wanting, the chemical high from the drugs. And I told myself, that first year or two, if we could ever get out from under this life sentence, I can't wait to have a glass of red wine and a line of Coke. Those two went hand in hand with me, red wine and cocaine. And I'm facing life in prison, and that's how my mind is still acting. It took about a good 2 years for me to finally snap out of it and be like, you would have to be insane to go back doing drugs and living that way. And I would be. and I don't want to be insane. So 11 years for a guy who never envisioned being sober, never saw a reason for it. So if I can do it, you can do it. You gotta make your word true to yourself, and how you're gonna do that is by self-discipline, by healthy daily habits, by being true to yourself, and by personal development. All right, have a good day.